Hi everyone, this video is a response to Schaffrillas' video of every Mario Kart World courses ranked. I'm simply gonna say stuff that he might haven't mentioned or correct some of its statement. If I have nothing to say, is that my opinions matches with the crowd, and with all that said, let us begin immediately. Coupa Beach. Bro think he's Baby Park LMAO. Coupa Beach is easily the bottom tier, and I'm gonna put it lower than Chevrolet did because its music doesn't work in addition. If it doesn't work, it's because the melody just doesn't matches with the new atmosphere it's going for. Like, a music originally chill cannot be transformed well into a hip-hop music like this if it doesn't change the melody or the rhythm in order to make it fully work. I don't know how to really well explain, but right now I feel like the music tries too hard to be hip-hop while having the same melody as before, which was, may I remind you, conceived for a chill beach music. I don't know if it's really clear. So let's just say that this just doesn't match, and that's the same for another track I'll get to later. Next up is Desert Hills. I have nothing else to add. The Yoshi Desert or Dry Ruins should have replaced it. Now SNES Mario Circuit. You know guys, I think I'm a bit of a predictor in the Mario Kart World stuff because I predicted that if two Wario tracks should come back, the top two would be N64 Wario Stadium and 3DS Wario Shipyard, and you know what? Both were included. And when Schaffrillas was told that he thought he would hate SNES Mario Circuit, I knew that he would have ended up not minding it actually. However, like it say, it doesn't rank higher than this. I'll just say that the jump in Mario Circuit 2 is proof that the track is stupidly made, while leaving faithfully the pipes on the left when they are supposed to be obstacles, and that now the players have to go on the right side of the road. Just why? However, just for the sake of being positive with it, I somehow adore the remake of its music for some reason. Let me know if you do too, I don't know. Starview pick. I wasn't expecting him to rank it this low, but I totally get him. Me personally, I like it nonetheless, even if its gameplay is really lame. DK Pass. Aha, now it's time to talk. Schaffrillas is mean with DK Pass as a whole. I agree on the idea that it has nothing really to do with DK and that the layout is far from it the most insane, but other than that, it's just a pretty solid track. It's always charming thanks to its gentle music like he said in each version. However, more specifically on the DS, once you reach the snowy top, the snowy road leads us to weird bumps which makes the track kinda tricky to maneuver through, and there are also giant snowballs to dodge, so it's suddenly a really fun time. In 7 the bumps were kinda removed and the track became easier to maneuver through, so it was definitely a downgrade that at least had the fog that progressively disappeared and some tricks opportunity that saved it from being a mid-track. And now in Mario Kart World, DK Pass is coherently confident. There is now a nice ski station that, while it's still a bit weird for DK, has nonetheless stuff going on once you reach the top with the trees and walls and rails. It has also a not pretentious final ramp that is not incredible, but is appropriate for the cozy ski station it's going for. Too bad, however, that the snowmen are gone. Overall, I think DK Pass is underappreciated. It's just a humble tracks with good vibes all around that will make people have a nice time. And for this reason, I think a World's version is a B plus tier, a 7 out of 10. Moo Moo Meadows. I would have personally adored this new version if it tried to be really more sporty and weird since cows are now playable. Sadly, it's basically the same course without its vibes, so yeah, for me it's a C unfortunately, and Moo Farm or Mountain should have replaced it. Mario Bros Circuit. I wish that the decoration or that some obstacles would have referenced the first Super Mario Bros. Because combining Wii Luigi Circuit and Wii U Mario Circuit is not enough to make it stand out. Peach Stadium, I have nothing else to add. Dandelion Depths, same thing. Faraway Oasis. Okay, as that's weird to say, but I somehow really like this course, even if I agree totally with Chiefs on the absence of animals obstacles, and the falls aren't strong enough as I would, so therefore Yoshi Falls has actually still something for itself. Don't get me wrong, the track is lame. And now Battle Mode. I don't have anything else to say, to be honest. I pretty much agree with everything, but I personally think it's the perfect time to say that for a game that costs $80 or $19, I think Nintendo will definitely add new free content to improve the game as a whole, because there's no way a game this expensive with only 30 tracks and a kind of poor battle mode will be this successful around the world. I think it would be reasonable to attract progressively players with new updates and stuff. There sure will be DLCs at one point, but I think for now, free updates will be on the menu, so I'm looking forward to them. That's just a theory though. Let's get back into the courses, and wait, actually, since we can compare this battle mode to the Wii U one, why not talk about it? This battle mode is easily the worst in the series. However, I'm gonna say it out loud, it's not as bad as people say. Actually, there is one track on this mode that kinda works, and this is Moo Moo Meadows again. That white place with grass here and there makes actually a pretty functional area to battle, doing U-turns if needed, and allowing overall to fight correctly our opponents like a battle map should. And the rest of the course is short enough to retrieve without problem those who cowardly escape. I mean, there are cows on the track that can be annoying, but other than that, I think it's fine. It's lazy fine. That's, yeah, damn it. If they just put it some opposite ramps in order to make the backwards driving cool, this would have been definitely good. But for now, it's a fine lazy battle on the Wii U. Yoshi Valley could have been the best battle map on this console, but the fact that the part where every part converge isn't close prevents players to stay on this main area, and so it reduces drastically the number of opponents you can cross. Oh yeah, and the cannon with the glider ramp is even more joke here than in the course. Donut Plains 3 would have been really great if the underwater parts were exploited and that the grass took way less space. Dry desert. If it took place on the Oasis and the Starlight Pit parts, maybe it would have been passable, because those are the only parts that where battling seems possible, I guess. Sherbet Lane, it feels so made for going into a specific direction that it won't work in any way in a battle mode. Toad Harbor, I share Schaffrillas' thoughts about it, and same for Mario Circuit and Toad Turnpike. Overall, by far the worst battle mode, but I kinda like Moo Moo Meadows, so it's not as bad, at least. Okay, let's get back to the courses. Wario Shipyard, well, I have nothing else to add. Acorn Heights, same here. Salty Speedway, again, same here. Crown City, 4th time in a row, same here. Though because he mentioned it, I'll say that Singapore Speedway is overrated. Whistletop Summit, I think the track drags a bit too much in some parts that don't offer great use of the rails, but other than that, it's very fun. Boo Cinema, I'd say that the part where in the screen should have got a literal short film on the film we're driving on, and not just Peach scared that copy pasted everywhere. It would have offered a stronger impression, and being maybe on par with the giant boo that appears out of nowhere. It's overall an underwhelming course with an awesome team that doesn't exploit its potential. Sky High Sunday. Honestly, this track feels so made for world that I think it deserves an A tier. The fact that it's a novel isn't necessarily a detriment as long as it proposes something great. Baby Park is great because it's chaotic as hell and unique, while Sky High Sunday, despite the fact that it hasn't this unique factor, it executed its theme real well and gave it tons of fun going on here. And speaking of the A tier, let's talk about the courses Schaffrillas put there. Chaco Mountain, it was absolutely unfun on the DS and too dry on the Switch one, and now it rocks and feels so alive. And I'm sorry to say, but an industry that extracts chocolate from the mountain is literally the most logical change it could have received. Cheap Cheap Falls. I adore Cheap Cheap Falls. It's the perfect example that a course doesn't need all the features in the world, not the most complex layout to work perfectly. Sometimes you just need to make it tricky with a marvelous theme to accompany it, and it all works out. I swear, playing it is such a blast and it's in my personal top 2, even if the other courses probably have more effort put into their design, but maybe putting effort is not always what makes a good track. Personally, I think people are in some way overrating some tracks because of all their features, well, sometimes it's not necessarily needed. I don't think it's really the case for any of the next tracks we'll see, but maybe I'm wrong. I'm writing it like this, but maybe I'll change later. DK Spaceport. I have nothing else to say, guys, and I'm sorry I'm not gonna talk about the rallies from the Knockout Tour because it's just too tricky and long for me. Sorry. Peach Beach. Aha, this one is overrated. I thought first it was really great, but then I thought about it and nah. It's great to have a beach track with different sections, but the thing is that the first and last lap are far from being memorable. The fact that the cataquacs don't serve anymore as effective obstacles now that we can easily drive on the water is the perfect example of that. They used to be the literal appeal of the track, and now that they're useless when we have literally 2 laps that desperately need obstacles, it's so disappointing. If the game proposed 2 parts of the track where one is faster but has cataquacs as enemies while the other part is longer but don't have any obstacle, then it would be perfect. But here it's just not, and that's so frustrating because the rest is awesome. From the score to the whole second lap, it had everything but a good arrangement on the lap 1 and 3. Dino Jungle. I also think that it should have left some hints of the ancient bridges and temple from the previous version because changing completely the course like this feels unnatural and disturbing. But other than that, it's pretty much perfect, I think. Shy Guy Bazaar. I have nothing else to add. Great question block ruined, same here. Airship Fortress. Okay, I know it's gonna sound insane, but Airship Fortress is just good in this game, and the reason is so jarring. Remember what I told you about SNES Koopa Peach's melody that doesn't match with the new vibes? Well, the same happens here. A music with a mysterious and intimidating melody cannot be changed that easily into a wow rocking music without changing the melody. As is, it's totally fine listening, but it doesn't feel like we're in a warfield while I'm listening to it. It feels so off on the course. And the track itself is still the same as ever, except I was expecting more from it, especially in the tower that cannot count on the intimidating music anymore. I'm real sorry guys, but this version is not great. It's still good, but it feels broken in the vibe department. Wario Stadium. You know where I said earlier that I was a predictor? Well, I thought for damn sure I would have guessed which track Schaffrillas was talking about in his tweet. Well, it turned out I was wrong because the actual most improved track in the entire Mario Kart series is Figure 8 Circuit because it went from the E tier to the B plus tier thanks to Mario Kart 8, which chose to name it after Mario. But the second place goes to Sky High Sunday because it was too awkward and poorly made in 8, but thankfully World is now here to make it feel complete and stuff. So yeah, I absolutely don't believe that N64 Wario Stadium received the greatest improvement, and I tons of reason to think that. The first one being the simple fact that Wario Stadium wasn't bad originally. As modern players who didn't grow up with Mario Kart 64, Wario Stadium can look bland, too long, repetitive, and flawed overall. And I'll say it, it's easily the most flawed out of all of the Mario Kart 64 tracks, and therefore, in my opinion, one of the weakest. So how can it be somehow enjoyable, you may ask? Well, the big bumps and extremely tighter aren't that easy to deal with. It requires to know how to do a U-turn in the narrow space, being patient while we're in the air or when we are trying to land in order to not lose the control of our car, aim correctly the item boxes which have often a lot of space between them, and doing this during 5 long minutes. It's a challenge that gets annoying because of its runtime, but a challenge nonetheless. I especially want to point out that video games were way harder before and some had less content than nowadays, mainly due to technical limitation, I suppose. If we didn't grow up with those, then it's hard to fairly judge them, and I think Schaffrillas was mean with some tracks or games. Maybe I'll send a new answer about this Super Mario Kart video. But anyways, for a game that had only 16 tracks, I think having Wario Stadium, which stands out as a tough challenge to face, is a nice idea that adds variety and can also increase the life duration of the game, which is pretty neat at the end. So yeah, that was my defense of the original. How's the brand new Worlds version? Fun, very suited for World thanks to its rails, ramp, and walls that offer lots of opportunities to take alternate paths. It's never boring overall, even if I wish that some alternate paths were more different and varied. Also, I don't think that simplifying the course is a bad thing since World's controls are way easier than the N64 ones. If the layout was faithful to the N64, it would have got tons of part overly long and dull. So bottom line is, Wario Stadium went from the B- tier to the A tier, and that's well deserved. Rainbow Road. If the gameplay was more creative and fun, Switch to Rainbow Road could have been the greatest Mario Kart track ever made. But for now, it's a course with absolutely immaculate and engaging vibe and aesthetics. Mario Kart 7's Rainbow Road is still supreme, unfortunately. Oh yeah, by the way, Chef, its booster course pass version is so lame, and I can prove it if you want. I just can't believe you ranked it number 1 on your Mario Kart 8 Deluxe ranking. Shame on you, Chef. Bowser's Castle. I'm kinda tired of having the same kind of last big turn before going back into the castle, but at least in this one we are descending fast enough and there are fire boulders that rains on us, so that's cool. And now for the S tier track. Toad's Factory. It's only after discussing with someone on Twitter that I found out how far Nintendo pushed Toad Factory. My only nitpick is the absence of crate in this one part, but aside from that, it's just perfectly adapted and so fun. And now, Dry Bones Burnout. Definitely the track that offers the most alternate paths everywhere, anywhere, and that's cool. It's so well thought out and it offers a really nice gameplay. The nice looking Mexican cocoa decorations are worthy additions that I wish were more used or clearly apparent in some places in order to make the track perfectly balancing the lava once it wants to be, as well as the dead Mexican fiesta it's associated with. In addition, I hate to be this guy, but being the track with the most stuff we can do, once again, doesn't necessarily make it the best. I personally don't find the gameplay on it this fun. I mean, it's fun, but this fun, I'm sorry, but nah. It's satisfying to take those tricky high wall spots, but giving it the top spot just for this is maybe too much. Don't get me wrong, Dry Bones Burnout is absolutely great, definitely great, but I don't think it's necessarily the number of stuff we can do here that makes it the best in the game. And it's by the way the case from Ninja Hideaway. And now, just for the sake of comparing our tier list, you can see that I added an E tier for Quadrupa Beach, but most importantly that I separated the B tier because I thought that the B tier was kind of mixing the decent tracks with the good ones. So yeah, overall I think they are kind of similar. Maybe I'm too severe on Dry Bones Burnout. Maybe a DK Pass is indeed a lame track, but I don't think so. Maybe I should rank Ash Fortress in the A tier. Maybe Boo Cinema deserved the B plus tier, but the more I think about it, the less I like it, honestly. But other than that, I think we pretty much agree on mostly everything, so that's pretty cool, I guess. Tell me in the comments if you agree with me or if you had something else to add to the conversation. That should be really cool, and yeah, thank you for watching, and I hope I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.
Ce mec en hiver. Ce mec frileux en hiver.